Good morning and welcome back. Today's new topic is purification of colloidal solution. First, purification of colloidal solution through dialysis. Dialysis, the process of separating the particles of colloid from those of crystalloid by means of diffusion through a suitable membrane is called dialysis. Its principle is based upon the fact that colloidal particles cannot pass through a parchment or cellophane membrane, while the ions of the electrolyte can pass through it. The colloidal solution is taken in a bag. The bag is suspended in fresh water. The impurities slowly diffused out of the bag, leaving behind pure colloidal solution. The distilled water is changed frequently to avoid accumulation of the crystalloids. Otherwise, they may start diffusing back into the bag. Dialysis can be used for removing HCl from the ferric hydroxide salt. Now, second method, electrodialysis. The ordinary process of dialysis is slow. To increase the pace of purification, the dialysis is carried out by applying electric field. This process is called electrodialysis. Kidneys in the human body act as dialyzers to purify blood, which is colloidal in nature. The important application of dialysis process in the artificial kidney machine used for the purification of blood of the patients whose kidneys have failed to work. The artificial kidney machine works on the principle of dialysis. Now, third method, ultrafiltration. Soil particles directly pass through ordinary filter paper because their pores are larger. If the pores of the ordinary filter paper are made smaller by the soaking the filter paper in a solution of gelatin or colloidation and subsequently hardened by soaking in formaldehyde, the treated filter paper may retain colloidal particles and allow the true solution particles to escape. Such filter paper is known as ultrafilter, and the process of separating colloids by using ultrafilters is known as ultrafiltration. Now, fourth method, ultracentrifugation. The soil particles are prevented from shaking out under the action of gravity by kinetic impacts of the molecules of the medium. The shaking force can be enhanced by using high speed centrifugal machine having 15,000 or more revolutions per minute. Such machines are known as ultracentrifuges. Now, properties of colloidal solutions. Physical properties. First, heterogeneous nature. Colloidal salts are heterogeneous in nature. They consist of two phases, the dispersed phase and the dispersion medium. Second, stable nature. The colloidal solutions are quite stable. Their particles are in the state of motion and do not settle down at the bottom of the container. Filterability. Colloidal particles are readily passed through the ordinary filter papers. However, they can be retained by special filters known as ultrafilters, means parchment paper. Now, colligative properties. Due to the formation of associated molecules, observed value of colligative properties like relative decrease in vapor pressure, elevation in boiling powder, or elevation in boiling point, depression in freezing point, osmotic pressure are smaller than expected. For a given colloidal sol, the number of particles will be very small as compared to the true solution. Now, mechanical properties. First, Brownian movement. The colloidal particles are moving at random in a zigzag motion. This type of motion is called Brownian movement. The reason of Brownian motion is that the molecules of the dispersion medium are constantly colliding with the particles of the dispersed phase. Diffusion. The sol particles diffuse from higher concentration to lower concentration region. However, due to the bigger size, they diffuse at a lesser speed. Sedimentation. The colloidal particles settle down under the influence of gravity at a very slow rate. This phenomenon is used for determining the molecular mass of the macromolecules. Now, optical properties. First, Tyndall effect. When the light passes through a sol, its path becomes visible because of scattering of light by particles. It is called Tyndall effect. This phenomenon was studied for the first time by Tyndall. The illuminated path of the beam is called Tyndall cone. In a true solution, there are no particles of sufficiently large diameter to scatter light and hence no Tyndall effect is observed. The Tyndall effect has also been observed by an instrument called ultramicroscope. Electrical properties. Colloidal particles carry an electric charge and the dispersion medium has an opposite and equal charge. The system as a whole being electrically neutral. The presence of equal and similar charges on the colloidal particles is largely responsible in giving stability to the system because the mutual forces of repulsion between similarly charged particles prevent them from coalescing and coagulating when they come closer to one another. Origin of the charge on colloidal particles. The origin of charge on the sol particles in most cases is due to preferential absorption of either positive or negative. The sol particles acquire electrical charge in any one or more of the following way. Due to dissociation of the surface molecules. Some colloidal particles develop electrical charge due to the dissociation or ionization of the surface molecules. The charge on the colloidal particles is balanced by oppositely charged ions in the soil. For example, an aqueous solution of soap means sodium palmitate, which dissociates into the ion as sodium palmitate, means C15H31COONA gives C15H31COO ion plus Na ion. The cations, means Na plus ion, pass into the solution, while the anions, means C15H31COO minus, have a tendency to form aggregates due to weak attractive force present in the hydrocarbon chains. Due to frictional electrification, it is believed that the frictional electrification due to the rubbing of the dispersed phase particles with that of dispersion medium results in some charge on the colloidal particles. The dispersion medium must also get some charge. Because of the friction, since it does not carry any charge, the theory does not seem to be correct. Due to selective absorption of ions, the particles constituting the dispersed phase absorb only those ions perfectionally which are common with their own lattice ion. For example, when a small quantity of silver nitrate is added to a large quantity of potassium iodide, the colloidal particles of silver iodide absorb and I minus ion from the solution to become negatively charged. Now, next topic, electrophoresis. The phenomenon of movement of colloidal particles under an applied electric field is called electrophoresis. If the particles accumulate near the negative electrode, the charge on the particles is positive. On the other hand, if the soul particles accumulate near the positive electrode, the charge on the particles is negative. Electrical double layer theory. The electrical properties of colloids can also be explained by electrical double layer theory. According to this theory, a double layer of ions appear at the surface of solid. The ion absorbed is held in fixed part and imparts charge to colloidal particles. The second part consists of a diffused mobile layer. This second layer consists of both the type of charges. The net charge on the second layer is exactly equal to that on the fixed part. The existence of opposite sign on fixed and diffuse parts of double layer leads to appearance of difference of potential known as zeta potential or electrokinetic potential. Now, when electric field is employed, the particles move. Now, new topic of osmosis. In it, the movement of the dispersed particles is prevented from moving by semi-permeable membrane. Electroosmosis is a phenomenon in which dispersion medium is allowed to move under the influence of an electrical field, whereas colloidal particles are not allowed to move. The existence of electroosmosis has suggested that when liquid is forced through a porous material or a capillary tube, a potential difference is set up between the two sides called as streaming potential. Now, new topic, stability of soles. Soles are thermodynamically unstable and the dispersed phase tend to separate out on long standing due to van der Waals attractive forces. However, soles tend to exhibit some stability due to first stronger repulsive forces between the similar charged particles. All colloidal particles in any sole possess similar charge. Therefore, due to the electrostatic repulsion, they are not able to come closer and form aggregates. Thus, stronger repulsive forces between the similarly charged particles in the sole promote its stability. Now, second, particle solvent interactions. Due to strong particle solvent interactions, the colloidal particles get strongly solvated. Due to solvation, the effective distance between the colloidal particles increases and therefore the van der Waals force of attraction decreases. As a result, the particles are not able to form aggregates. Lyophilic soles are mainly stabilized by solvation effects due to strong interactions between the sole particles and the dispersion medium. Now, coagulation or flocculation of precipitation. The phenomenon of the precipitations of a colloidal solution by the addition of the excess of an electrolyte is called coagulation or flocculation by electrophoresis. In electrophoresis, the colloidal particles move towards oppositely charged electrode. When these come in contact with the electrode for long, these are discharged and precipitate. Second, by mixing two oppositely charged soles. When oppositely charged soles are mixed in almost equal proportions, their charges are neutralized. Both soles may be partial or completely precipitate as the mixing of ferric hydroxide means positive sole and arsenious sulfide which is negative sole brings them in precipitate form. This type of coagulation is called mutual coagulation or material coagulation.